as we move away from looking at modifiers, we're going to move into verb tenses and verb forms. Just a little review of a verb is either an action or a state of existence. Or that's the part that is being done in the sentence. So the subject is a doer, and we always have the verb is the action or what is done. In English, we have certain tenses that we must follow, and then there are some forms that we need to follow as well. And so we're going to look at what those tenses and forms are this week. I'll just start. We have three simple tenses. As we know, we have the present tense, and that's anything that's existing or happening now. Notice it's in the middle of a timeline. Anything that has happened before the present has a simple past. Now this is stuff that happened one time, right? It just simply happened at that moment in time. So the existing or happening in the past. So I walked to the store. I did that one time, so that becomes my simple past. Unlike my present, which is I walked to the store. And then we have a future tense. Now the future tense is going to be anything that will happen at one point in the future. Right? So it's going to exist or happen in the future. So I will walk to the store. So notice how we create the future tense by adding the helping verb will in front of the base verb. Okay, so if our base verb is to walk, we're going to add this helping verb will in front of to walk to create the future tense. Okay. Now, we also have three perfect tenses. So, and I have them here on our guide so that we can see where they kind of happen. So I kept our simple tenses up here, and we see that at some point, way beyond that one incident that's happened, we have stuff that existed or happened before a specific time. Right? So this is stuff that it could have happened for a while, right? But it was before a specific time in the past. And that's what we call the past perfect. Otherwise, we do have a fancy word for it called the pluperfect, which is just fun to say. We also have a present perfect, which you can see happens slightly before present tense, and it could still be happening now. And then we also have a future perfect tense, and that's anything that's existing and happening before a specific time in the future. Okay. And again, think these simple tenses as something that happens once. Think of the perfect tenses as something that happens for a chunk of time. So how do we form the perfect tense? The past perfect is formed by using the past tense of to have plus the participle verb. Basically, a participle verb is conjugated differently than a regular verb, and just know that perfects use participles. So PP, perfect use participles. Our present perfect uses the present tense of have, to have, plus the participle verb. And then the future perfect combines the two. So we have to have our future tense by using will. We have our present tense of to have, and then the participle verb. So let's take the verb to teach and conjugate it out. Past perfect. He had taught 10 years before retiring last year. Okay, so all of those 10 years he taught have happened before that one time in the past. He's only retired once. Present perfect. I have taught 4 years now. I'm still teaching, it's still happening, but for a chunk of time I have taught. And then I will have taught 30 years in 2039. So notice 2039 is my future cutoff point, but for some time before that I've been teaching. So that's why I'm using my future perfect. Now each of our 6 tenses has what we call a progressive form. Progressive means sort of a continuous or a moving forward. Okay. So anything that shows an ongoing action gets the progressive form. Okay. So that's what that means. These show ongoing or continuous action in the system. For our simple tenses, we're going to conjugate to be. So we're going to use whatever tense of to be it is. If it's past, we use the past tense of to be. If it's present, we'll use the present tense of to be. Or if it's future, we'll use the future tense of to be. Plus an ing verb. Okay. So then I can do a past progressive, I was teaching. And we're still going to use the verb to teach. Present progressive, I am teaching. I can use future progressive, I will be teaching. So these show that continuous or ongoing action. I can also add a progressive form to my perfect tenses. I can create a past perfect progressive. I had been teaching. Or I want to show something that was a continuous over time. I can use a present perfect progressive. I have been teaching. And I have been teaching for 4 years. And then a future perfect progressive. I will have been teaching. So these forms and these tenses all combine then to create the different types of verb phrases we have. But the question we want to ask ourselves is, why is this important? Okay, well, it's important for 2 reasons. The first one, our verbs must agree in tense and form. So, if I'm writing a short story, typically short stories are written in the past tense, so then all my verb tenses and forms must then be in past tense. Okay, so notice here, I was walking, was is past tense, when I saw the cowboy. Okay, so this is my past progressive, right? For a while, this action was happening, but this action only happened once. Okay, but they're both past tense. So that's why they agree. Okay. The other reason why we really need to know our tenses is that when we're writing about literature, we always use present tense and form. So notice Charlie learns, that's present tense. That Algernon had the same surgery. So we want to use that present tense to demonstrate that this is an ongoing or sort of a always in the present moment for that piece of literature. So now our task as proofreaders and editors and writers is to look at our tenses to make sure that they always agree. And so that is what you'll be responsible for this upcoming week, is to look at your different verb tenses and then make sure they are in agreement. So everything is in present tense or everything is in past tense. And that you're not creating a shift in tense error, like as we call it when you bounce from different tenses.